Hello and welcome back to the Reaper. So you guys have asked me to do the turn rate test, the max sustained turn rate test for some of the smaller planes. So we've done all of the fast fighters, the F-15, the Tomcat, the Hornet, the Mirage, etc, etc, all 8 of the fast aircraft, but we haven't done some of the what I'd call, the smaller aircraft. So what we're going to do now is the F-5E, the AJS-37, the Mig-21 if I can without crashing. I'm not even sure I can do that. I mean, max sustained turn rate is going to be really hard in that. What else haven't we done? We've also got down here, we may do a J-11 because we've decided on a new way of doing that, a new fuel load for the flanker. AV-8B probably, just for fun. I know it's not going to be very good, but at least we can see where it stands. Right, we're back in now. Now, I've done so many of these turn rate videos, I'm not going to explain how I do it because it's just, well, you know better than me probably by now. All I'm going to say is I've got 50% gas in this thing, I've got fuel burn turned off, and we're going to use the usual method, all of the usual parameters, 29.92 inches mercury Q and H, and 20 degrees C at sea level, and that's it. Right, so I'm getting, obviously all missiles and pylons removed where possible. So I'm just looking for my airspeed. Oh, I'm too fast, so let me just slow down. So we're going to work away from about 250 knots, pulling max G, all the way up to basically the fastest and highest G I can tolerate. It's going to be about 450, 500 knots. It depends. I don't know how this thing turns, so we'll just have to see. Power on. And we do have stability control on this, so I doubt I'm going to over alpha. I don't think there's much really I can do wrong, unlike the Mig-21, I think. That is our max turn at 250 knots. Let's ease out ever so slightly. It's 280 knots. 290 knots. Let's eke it out to 300. 300 knots sustained. Feeling the G now. I can't remember where my accelerometer is, so I can't tell you what the G is, but my guy is huffing and puffing with a G suit, so it must be pretty tight. Let's eke that out just a little bit. 310 knots. 320, sustain that. Quite hard to do in the F5, it's very responsive. It's about 325, sustained. Okay, let's eke it out. As for my predictions, it's a small wing fighter with wings fairly far back. Like a miniature copy of the F-15, I reckon. So I reckon it's going to be about 400 knots is going to be its peak sustained turn rate, but I'm usually wrong, so we'll see. 330 sustained. Let's try getting to 350. .350 sustained. .360, I've got a weird beep going on, don't know what that is. Eke it out a little more, let's get up to 380. 380 sustained. .390 sustained. Get to 400. 400 sustained. .410 sustained. 420 sustained. Eke it out to 430, 440. 440 sustained. Or 50 sustained. I reckon we're probably at our max turn now, or we've been past it. If I know anything about aviation. 460 sustained. 470 sustained. For 80 sustained. 490. 500. Keep going just in case. Just eke it out to 525. 525 sustain. 540 sustain. 550 sustain. Don't think it's going to go any tighter than that. Woo! F5 done. Next, we're going to jump into the standby. Viggen time. See if we can remember how to fly this. Okay. Checks. Everything's clean. Everything's off. 50% gas. 29.92 Q and H. 20%. 20 degrees temperature ground level. Where's my speedo? I'm going to need a Imperial speedo, which I can't say. Oh, I'm on multiplayer, so I can't do it on multiplayer. Okay, I'll have to use my metric speedo then, and that's going to be 400 to 800, I think, isn't it? So let's slow down. Okay, 400, burners on. Stage 3. See how she turns. 400 sustained. 420 sustained. 425 sustained. 450 sustained. Actually, feels quite tight. .460, 470 sustained. 475 sustained. 500 sustained. 525 sustained. It's actually quite hard to sustain these speeds. She doesn't want to stay in one place. 550 sustained. Five, 7, 5, 580 sustained. 600. 580. 625. $650. $675. $700. $725. $750. No blackout, which is quite strange. $775. I assume this will be similar to the Mirage 2000. Similar body shape, obviously. 800 clicks. $825 sustain. $850 sustain. $875 sustained. $900 sustained. And that'll do it. I don't think there's much point of going any faster than that. That's the Viggen done. Next, let's go and do nozzles, max position, everything stripped out, 50% gas, 29.9 to 20 degrees. I don't know if we need water on or not, but I'm going to turn it on just in case. It certainly won't decrease anything. Solid. No, I'll turn it off. Do you know the Harrier much, Sabre?
Yeah, I've flown it a bit, but not that much.
Oh, okay. Right, now I'm not a Harrier expert, as you know, so I'm just going to do the best I can. I think the best power I can use is 107 in an emergency before I start to seriously degrade the engine. So I'm going to use 107 power. Otherwise, I'm just going to do everything the same as a fighter. That's everything I can think of doing. So, but I am going to turn water on. I just think it's the best idea.
Roll out! Caution, caution. Roll out!
Power up.
Caution, caution.
I can see this is going to be
Roll out!
difficult.
Caution.
Okay, I need to be able to see my power, so we need to get to... How do I change the HUD? It's up there. Nav, be still.
Roll out!
Okay, power going up.
Power!
Where's the water?
Caution.
H2O is good. Right, we're good to go.
Roll out!
Actually feels like it's only quite too fast. Oh, by the yes, I know I can do vectored thrust. To make this slightly tight. I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to try and...
Caution. Caution.
Right. 300 sustained.
Caution.
Start moving up.
Caution.
320.
Roll out.
340 sustained. .350 sustained. .360 sustained.
Roll out.
380 sustained.
Roll out.
400 sustained.
Roll out.
420 sustained. .440 sustained. .450 sustained. .460 sustained. .480 sustained. .500 sustained. Okay, I don't think there's much point of going faster. Harrier done. Next, special afterburner mode on. Is that it? Yes, it is. Emergency afterburner. Power on. Oh, where the hell is the speedo? Airspeed. Okay, let's drag it back down. Start spooling. Now I really need my angle of attack and I can't see it anywhere, so this is going to be interesting. Not anywhere obvious. Okay, let's go, little Mig. Don't kill me, please. Already struggling. $450. $475. 500. $525. 550. 560. 570. 580. 590. 600. 610. 620. 30. 650. 620. 675. 680. 690. 700. 710. 720. 725. 730. 740. 750. 760. 770. 780. 790. 800. 810. 820. 830. 850. 60. 70. 880. 890. 900. That feels like our peak there at about 900. One, 2, 5. Fit 950. One 75. And about 1,000. I don't think that's as far as we'll go. One more plane left. Oh, that's the thing. That sound is because we're tuned into a radio station, and I don't know how to detune that. We're just going to have to put up with that, I'm afraid. Right, the J-11. We're doing the J-11 because it should be the same as the Su-25 with Su-27. Same engines and same body as far as I'm aware. But you guys said that the normal half gas, half fuel level that we're going to use should be 30% rather than 50% on the J-11 because the 60% is considered max military fuel for anything other than ferry. So I'm going to take you guys' word for it. We've got 30% gas with this, and we're going to see how it goes, and this will probably represent the Su-27 as well. Let's get going. Already a lot faster than the others. Just need to get in the groove. 450. Fairly straight wings this plane, so I think it's going to be about 400 knots optimal. $530. $550, $560. $570. $600. $620. $630. 650. 700. 720. 730. 740. 740. 750. 760. 770. This feels about peak to me. 780. 790. 800. Eight 20. 830. I can no longer. That's it. Ooh, so we were getting up to 9G there, so there's no longer I could keep that. Right, so I hope that shows a max. We had stability, we had pitch stability augmentation turned on. Some people have suggested turning it off, but I don't think any serious pilot would actually turn it off in a dogfight, so it seems a bit pointless. Right, that is F5, Viggen, Harrier, Mig-21 and the J-11 done. Great. What we're going to do now is send it through to TAC-View and find out some more figures. Hello, welcome back. We're going to go through the data now. It's going to be a long, laborious process, but that's science or pseudoscience for you. F5 first. What we're interested in is speed, angle of attack, G, and turn rate in degrees per second. When we're measuring turn rate, we're going to filter out any of the peaks because they are not true sustained turn rate. We'll do that by measuring the peak long longevity and comparing its delta, its change in speed, if it's any declination of speed. So let's go. Speed him up. Let's get him going somewhere. Come on, mate. Get turning. Okay. 14 at 260. 14 at 260 was our most we've seen so far. Let's keep going. 14 at 280. 14 at 310. 14 at 3. Whoa, go back there, sir. That was a 15er. That was a 15er. Let's count that. And 1,000, 3,000, 2,000, 3.5 seconds. Doesn't really count. Continue. Whoa, 15. Back you go. Oh, fuck's sake. 1,000, 2,000. Nope. 2, 3, no. 2, 3, 4. Not really sustained, was it? Let's zip him back there. 3, 4. It's 4 seconds. Not really convinced by that. $14 at 360. 14. 14, 14, 14. And the reason we're not getting very high is because so misconception that small light fighters are going to be able to turn well in a sustained turn. That's simply not it. You have to have a high enough lift and power to weight ratio, and this plane just simply doesn't have that. It doesn't have the engines to push it round, and it doesn't have the wings to create enough lift. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is lift that's creating just in a different and horizontal plane. So it just never really had much chance, this aircraft. This is why I didn't bother with these aircraft from the beginning. Anyway, stop talking and let's find that 15. 2, 3, 4 seconds. Not really sustained again. It's kind of like, feels like it's kind of 14.5 bouncing to 14.6. 420 knots, nearly finished. No, it's getting lower now. No, it's not. That was a glitch. That was a blip. 14. It's a solid 14 fighter, all the way in the entire band of 3 to 500 knots. It's as simple as that. And it's getting lower now. So yeah, that was an easy one. So 260 to 500 knots is a solid 14 degrees per second. Ping next. After you've done enough of these, you just get used to them. Right, everything goes, sir. 13, 14, 12. Well, we're too low, obviously, at the moment, so let's just let him speed up. Predictions about the Viggen. I reckon it's going to be not too bad. It's got a very rear centre of lift. It's got okay engines down here. They're actually quite powerful, so it's power to weight. It's okay. It's not, fighter spec, modern fighter spec, but I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be a 15 degree per second plane, which is, it's not going to win against an F-18 at 22 degrees per second, but we'll see. Anyway, let's carry on. 13. Boring. Speed up. See, it's going to be a bit bouncy. 14. 14. 15 out of pull. 13. Stop. There we had a definite 15 at something or something or something. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's sustained. That was 15 at 350 knots. So 15 at 350 knots. Go. $15, 16, maybe that was definite 15. Let's go back and check that sheet out. There, where are we? There. Speed is good. Speed is honest. So that was 15 at 370. It never really went to 16 for long enough. 15 at 370. Continue. 15 at 400. Continue. 15 at 420. That's sustained. I reckon that was sustained. How exciting. Let's try that. And 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7, just about sustained. Let's have another look. Look at the speed, look at the speed, look at the speed, look at the speed. It's sustained. It sustained 16 at 420. Ooh, ho, 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 ho. That's going to have something to say, isn't it? Let's continue. 16 at... No. I imagine, due to its delta and whatnot, that and its power, I reckon that was probably the peak. So it'll make it exactly the same as the Mirage. And that's not surprising at all, isn't it? Same body, same rough power to weight down here. 15, 15, 15. No, I think that's done now. Hasn't got the power to be up here. Okay. How exciting. We've got 16 at 420 is the peak. So we've got a very narrow band of peak there. That's fine. Very impressive. Next, your Scotchio. What the hell is that? Oh, good lord, it's a Mig-21, isn't it? No, it's an AV-8B. Absolutely no idea what to think, so let's have a think about this. It's got a Pegasus engine. Down here it's got a very high thrust-to-weight ratio. But it's got a jack shit lift. And its lift is... Well, that's not even the right picture. And its lift is all in the wrong place. I don't know. What do you think? I really don't know about this. I'm going to go for a solid 14 over a wide band. Just because of its bad lift. Good engine, bad lift. However, that's watched me be completely wrong now. So let's go just get a feel for it. Dear, it doesn't look like we're even going to get that high. I know we're in it to something else. Yeah, it's going to be... Oh my goodness, what was that? What was that? This is without vectored thrust, by the way. And vectored thrust wouldn't help anyway in a sustained, I'm pretty sure. It'd be only be for a snap. Well, how friggin' wrong am I? Look how beautifully that's turning. Must be just the power. It's going to be a 16er. This is all sustained 16. Wow. So now you know, if you want to win a dogfight with a Harrier, you've got to get them less than 300 knots. And you can outturn anything down there. Even a flanker can't do that. How impressive. Looks like it's actually getting slower now. It's getting faster, getting lower as it's getting faster. Which is very untraditional. Starting to settle down a little now. 16. Is that going to sustain? No. Speed it up a little bit. Yeah, it's getting lower now, isn't it? It likes 300 or less. 14. Don't think we're gonna see any more, are we? 14. No. No, clearly. Right, so let's go back and just study those. Were they peaks or were they... What were they? What were they? Let's give them a go. Okay. So 16... No, it wasn't a peak. It wasn't sustained. So let's try again. Where do we see 16 again? 2. No. 1. No. 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's check that speed again. Go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it was decreasing speed slightly. It's not really sustained turn rate. So it's 15 from 2. So it's going to be a big 15 spread by the looks of it. And it's kind of like from here, 280, so it's 15 at 280, I'd be happy to say, which is extremely good, to be honest. Nothing else turns like that down here. And we're popping around 15 here and there. I think the only other 15 really is going to be kind of mid 300s, low 300s. Kind of around here, wasn't it? That was the end of it. So, 280 to 330. 15 degrees at 280 to 330 Harrier. Well, that's some actually really useful knowledge. And that will allow that thing to beat a modern fighter if used correctly. Right, next. My AV-8B. Oh god, this contraption. Right. What can this do? I don't think it's going to turn at all. Its power to weight's pretty crap, to be honest, and its wings are, well, it doesn't really have them. It just has little finlets. So let's give them a go. I'm going to give it a solid 12 or 13, I think. Watch me be wrong. Just me bouncing up and down and sustaining now. Sustaining at 14. Okay, we're just doing better than I thought. 14. I don't think it will get above 14. $13. 400. 13. 'That was interesting. What was that little thing there? Was that a thing of any kind? Back you go, monkey. What was that? Speed's going. It's pretty constant. It was a bit of sustained 14, wasn't it? Wow. Where did that come from? You can tell this is a very analog fighter. That was sustained. Let's have a look at that. 480. 480. 480. 480. 470. Don't know. So 473. Where did it start? 470. So we lost 5 knots over that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 seconds, and we lost 5 knots. I don't know if I can do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know if I can give it to it. What was the alpha? 15 degrees, 6.7 G. Don't know. Hopefully 14.5. I mean, it feels like a 14 aircraft, doesn't it? So we do it like this, we can see it's basically 13 all the way through. I know there's some little messy bits around here, but that's just me messing around. It gets static about 300, 14. I think we've got to give that a 14. I know it was 5 or 6 seconds, but we lost 5 knots over that, so 14 degrees per second, and it was a big spread really of 14 degrees per second. It was kind of flipping. Well, to be honest, that looks like 13. So I'm going to say 14 kind of really started about here. 480 to... It's just a hard one to judge. 480 to 520 I think was 14. The rest I think was really 13. Yeah. So 480, that's 14 degrees per second, 480 to 520. I think that's the best outcome there. J-11 with 30% gas. So this is the new way of doing the flankers. So people consider full fuel to be 60%. So I'm just going to have to believe them. And this, as far as I'm aware, represents a flanker. I believe it's got the same Saturn engines and the same body weight. So, predictions with this amount of fuel. What the hell? It should be... Oh, now I screwed up. I reckon it could go up to 19, maybe even touch 20 degrees per second. Well, the real flanker at Farnborough, stripped down version, was 22 degrees per second, 22.5 degrees per second, with running on fumes. So this, I reckon, about just under 20 degrees with 30% gas and a full avionics suite. So let's go. Well, I'm just going to be messing around at this point, trying to get into the groove of it. Okay, here we go. Wow, 19 degrees per second already. Jesus Christ. That looked like sustained as well. Let's try that. Check speed, 17 degrees per second, 240. Speed is constant, 90 degrees per second, 90 degrees per second, 18 degrees per second. I'm not sure that was full 19 degrees, 18 degrees per second. So that, I'm going to go for 18 at 250 there. So J11, 18 at 250. Continue, sir. This is going to be fast. That's 19 sustained, I reckon there. Maybe. And go 2, 3. No, maybe not. 2, 3. Whoa, 5. 19. Was that 19? I know it wasn't the 20, but go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I reckon that might be 19. I started at 26, entered at 264. Started at 26. We lost 4 knots. We might give that a 19 because I was up to 20. I think that's 19 at 270. Might be a bit generous. 19, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, that's sustained. That is sustained. That's 19 at 270, which we've just got written down, so we can scrub out the 18. 19, 280, 19, 290, 19. This is going to be fast. This aeroplane is going to be very good. It's 18 at 290, so let's write that down. So it's 19 at 290. Continue, sir. 19, 300, 19. 310, 20. Was that sustained? I don't think it was. Starts at 309. Go 1, 2, 3. We lost 6. Nah, it wasn't sustained. That's sustained at 310. So let's write that down. 310, 19. Bouncing about a little bit here. It is quite hard to fly this flanker because it displays in tens of units, and you can't really get your accuracy down. So we have to interpolate a little bit here. 19. We're in 19 at 330. I think that's pretty clear. 19, 19, 19, 19, 19, 19, 18, 19. So we've got 19 at 340. It's too close to carry on. It's going to be 19 at 350. It's going to be 19 throughout. Wow, what a good turn fighter this is. What a good turn fighter this is. It's all about the fuel we've taken out. That's struggling down here. That is... yeah, that's 19. That's 19 at 350. 350, 19. 19. At 380, it's 18 at 380. 19, that's 19 at 400. That's 19 at 400, yep. 400. Ooh. I don't think that was, I think it was about 3 seconds. We better go and check that. What speed are we going at? Oh, we're going full speed now, that's just a couple of seconds. That was 19 at... yeah, that was 19 at 420. 19 at 420. 19, 19, 19. $18, 19, 19 at 440. I don't expect it to get any more now because just the wing shape doesn't support it being able to turn any harder up here. 8 Gs now. So this is where the flanker it doesn't allow us to keep the speed under control anymore. So 450. I saw some glimpses of 20, but I don't think that was sustained. So it's 19, 19 all around here. 450. 8G. That's as much as you're going to want to pull in a sustained anyway. 19, 460. This is probably the biggest. I know it's not as impressive as an F-18 sustained, nowhere near, but it's not all about the peak. You know, it's about the. I can't think of the range. It's a brilliant range. 19, 460. It's 19 basically from 250 knots all the way up to 450 knots. I don't think there's any other fighter that could do that. Sustained, that's sustained 470. I don't need to write that down. .480 is 19. 480. And this is where I kind of start losing control, the ability to keep it slow, and yeah, I've given up at that point. We're blacked out at that point. Right, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So this is J-11/SU-27. It is 19 degrees per second at 270 to 480. So anywhere in the envelope that you're actually going to turn, 270 to 480, you're going to manage with that gas amount, 19 degrees per second, making it an excellent fighter. Really is, really good. So that's interesting. Right, next we're going to go and put those firefighters in our database, and I'll report back in a second. Okay, welcome back. We have our results here. So, first of all, for peak sustained rate, 50% gas, The F-18C is the king in DCS as it is in the real world. I don't really fully understand the reasons for this. It's something to do with the leading edge extensions. In terms of power to weight ratio, it's not as good as some of these other fighters, but its ability to fly stably at high angles of attack allows it to have this massive sustained and snap turn rate. And this is 22 degrees, so this is as much as a flanker, stripped down display flanker with no gas in. That just shows how impressive it is. The best dogfighter in the world will always be the F-18C that we've got here, testable. Once the F-16 comes along, maybe that will change. I don't know. Don't know enough about it yet. Mig-21 next because of its wing loading, and it does also have leading edge wing extensions, doesn't it? But it's wing loading and its power to weight ratio, presumably. That's there. The F-14B, I will have to, obviously we're in early development of the F-14B, so I'll have to redo this in a few months. But currently it's a good solid 20 degrees per second low down. When it speeds up, its wings go back and it becomes crap. So one thing to know, if you're going to dogfight in an F-14B, you have to go slow if you want to turn hard. And you can't force your wings out when you go fast. If you do that, you damage your wings. So that's just how it is, okay? Mirage 2000's next is a little lower down because its band of 20 degrees per second was a little bit less than the F-14B. And it's a little higher speed, and nothing else to say about that. Now the J-11, which I consider the same as the Su-27, was really impressive. 19 degrees, not only 19 degrees, but look at that band, 270 to 480. Basically any speed you're going to fly at in a fight is a solid 19 degrees, so it's amazing. Note, it's 30% gas. It's the first flanker we've tried with 30% gas, so obviously it's better. Now, it's better than the flanker A. If we look down here, with 40% gas, it could only manage 18 degrees at that small band. So it's an extra degree and a bigger band if you take the 20% of gas out. Okay? So we've got both comparisons in there now, 30% and 50% gas, as you asked. Next, the F-15, a good solid kind of single, kind of middle band here. It needs to go 350 to 450, and it can get 19 degrees per second at 50% gas. It is impressive. The old bird is impressive. The wing loading is not particularly low, but the power to weight is exceptional in this aircraft. So again, obviously none of this is with stores. Stores will upset everything, but you know, that's immeasurable. So the F-15 is good. The flankers ever so slightly lower than the F-15, just because it at 50% gas, because it carries so much more gas in its belly. It's a better fighter at turning, but because it carries so much more, hundreds of pounds of gas, thousands of pounds of gas, it makes it slower. Okay, Su-33 is the same as an Su-27, same engines, same body more or less, but it is slightly more draggy and it's 2 tons heavier, its body is, due to its landing gear and its rest hook and other things. So it is worse at turning. Note, I did not use special afterburner mode on. If I used special afterburner mode on, I would suspect I would get more up to 17.5, so I'd have to do that at some point. Next, second of our newcomers today, AGS-37 Viggen, a good solid 16 degrees at 420. So if you want to dogfight in the Viggen, you want to be at 420, and then you can match, well, nothing really. And Su-33 maybe, as long as he's forgotten to put his special afterburner mode on. It's not a dogfighter, we all know that. AV-8B, today's surprise, it can turn, low only, but it can turn at 280 to, so if you say 300 knots, if you were in a dogfight with an AV-8B, go to 300 knots, nozzles fully back, and you can sustain 15 degrees. Now the interesting thing about that is, all of these aircraft above will probably only just be able to match that down at 300 knots. They're simply not suited to turn at 300 knots. A lot of these fast fighters, the Mig-21, the Mirage 2000, the F-15, they just can't turn down there. So you're probably almost as good as a frontline fighter down at that speed. So that's something good to know. F-5E. It's a good shape, but it hasn't got the power. The power is terrible. And so because of that, it's just a solid over the entire band that you can possibly want to fly at. In terms of speed, it's a 14 degrees per second, which is, well, it's terrible, isn't it? Nothing else to say about that. It's, you know, it's not going to keep up with any of these fighters. So if you're going to win against these fighters, you have to use other tactics other than pure sustained lateral. So that's that. Mig-21, it's even worse than the F5. It can do 14 degrees per second, but the band is less. It's only a 40 knot bound up at over 480, and I don't think anyone expected that to be good. And the peak to stern, I did one for 10% gas, and that was the Tomcat, and that's all the way up at 24 degrees per second, which is mega, but that is with no gas in the bird. And that's all I've got to say on that. So that's all of the aeroplanes done now. I think that need doing. I'm not going to go in and put Spitfires and stuff in and C-101s because I think it's getting a bit silly at that point. So there's your data that you wanted. I hope you enjoy it, and see you later.